a significant advantage right there.
Yeah, you feel like when you're in the die roll, step 1 is complete.
At least you get to play some cards with an open board, and that's that you can't underestimate sometimes how important that is. But some people would choose to go second, build a going second deck, and maybe throw you off your tempo.
Definitely. But it looks like Tyler is going to open up with that turn 1 amazing starter. It's Snake Eye Ash.
And Paulo is forced to use Effect Veiler on this. It opens it up to Triple Tactics Talent. It's a very dangerous card to use because it is a monster effect after all. And we have Kieran. Oh, there's the follow-up. You can now destroy it. Now, Effect Veiler will not negate the Snake Eye Ash, and we get to summon out the Kieran, and the Ash will resolve normally. And you start open to the triple attack.
Yes, and this is why I like including the maximum copies of Kieran as I can include in my deck to dodge these effect negations, because if they're not playing Effect Veiler, you know Infinite Impermanence is probably in there somewhere, so the Ash is going to resolve since it's no longer on the field to add Snake Eye's Poplar. Poplar is going to add a Snake Eye spell or trap from the deck to the hand.
Likely that's... Yep.
I was going to say, there's a lot of cool plays you can actually do with this. If you play the Xyz Garunix in your extra deck, there's like a way you can do a full combo to where you make the Xyz Garunix. Well, first you have to spell summon the Grunix with the Kieran effect, not by his own effect. You make the Xyz Garunix, you detach the Garunix to destroy your Fire King Island, you protect your island with Sanctuary so it destroys your Garunix, and then your Garunix is going to summon back Arvata, and since the Fire's monster destroyed, you summon back the Garunix again. It's kind of a cool play, we probably won't see it here, but let's go ahead and jump back into the game. Triple Tactics Talent coming down, as you mentioned.
Yep.
There's a downside to using cards like Effect Veiler.
And it revealed the Nibiru in hand, and also the field spell.
Now, this is really interesting. If I had Effect Negation and a Nibiru, there is some argument to holding that till just the very end, because usually they put up one way to stop Nibiru, and then you can have Veiler Nibiru after they've invested all their cards into the play.
But it's very dangerous in this match, because if an Arvata comes out onto the field, then one of them is not going to work, and if they make you mistime it, where they just play around putting a Flamberge on, and even if there's a Nibiru, oh, I'll still get all my cards back, now you're like, oh, I'm in a weird spot again.
Yeah, definitely something to consider for sure. And now, after the talents is resolved, I didn't see what he put back exactly because we were so deep in our discussion on whether you hold it or use it. That's definitely one of the questions people are going to be exploring as this format grows and evolves. But now it looks like Tyler is looking to his extra deck. He's going to link away that Poplar for Link Karibo. So now the Poplar will be able to go to that spell and trap card zone.
So don't you think that Link Karibo is the enabler of all of these plays?
Link ones are good, I hear. All Link ones, like, even I guess, what is the main phase 2 one? Clara and Roshka?
Clara and Roshka, yeah.
That one's even pretty good itself.
If only it could be used in main phase 1, the ABCs would have a wonderful time.
Shout out to the World Championship this past year. But now we see the original Sinful Spoils being used to send that Poplar from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard. Now the Fire King engine is coming online with Ponox being special summoned from the deck.
Everything just lines up so nicely in this particular matchup.
This is the play. This is the play I was talking about. So here, if you were doing the play, you would link away Link Karibo and Ponox into SP Little Knight, because that gives you a little hedge bet around Nibiru. Well, he knows the hands now, so he doesn't have to worry about that as well. But you can go to SP Little Knight, then you would destroy the Kieran to add the Garunix. The Kieran effect would summon the Garunix from your hand. This would be the play. I wonder if he's doing it. That would be awesome, but...
I wonder if he has it in his extra deck. That'd be kind of interesting as well.
Some people chose to play it. Some people have cut it because the extra deck space is so tight in the Fire King Snake Eye deck. You have to pick and choose which cards you're going to want to have access to for your available options.
I think the options of building a Fire King Snake Eye deck, there's just so many additional cards that you can choose to play. And the thing is, it feels like you're sharing your deck with your opponent, especially in this mirror match when you have the Charmers.
He's doing it! This is what I'm talking about.
Here we go.
If he does the play I just described, I would be blown away because I haven't seen anyone really focusing on this play at all.
So with the SP Little Knight dropped onto the field, we are seeing...
He's doing it. If he summons the Grunix to Kieran's effect, it's it. He's doing the play that I was describing. That's wild. Oh, nope. He's going to add Kieran. Maybe he already has... He has to have Grunix already.
That has to be it. That has to be it. Otherwise, this play won't go anywhere far.
But it's really nice when you have the Kieran in your hand for that follow-up. Oh.
I think there it is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. The Garunix activates in hand.
Is he activating the Garunix or is he activating the Kieran?
I think... He's not doing
both.
it.
He's doing both, dang. He's not doing
your play. Not your play.
Maybe he doesn't play the Xyz monster. But instead, the Ponox is going to come down. The Garunix effect's going to activate and destroy Arvata to bring back Kieran.
See, it's a very interesting choice here. The Arvata likely is going to be summoned at some point during this turn or the next. And people need to play these monster negates. They have to play it now. That's why a lot of people would maybe choose to go into Appaloosa. But the negate is really mad. But like the thing is, the fire attribute, it's quite dangerous.
It definitely
just in
is.
case some people are playing super poly, where if you leave too many fires, your whole board's gone.
Yeah, I've even seen people so scared of Super Poly that they'll link away their Amblo for a Zelantis just to get that fire monster off the field. So you have like Zelantis Arvata.
Yeah.
You're giving up a little bit in the recursion you get from that Amblo, but you're playing around a card that can absolutely devastate your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But now we are going to see Snake Eye Ash brought back from the Princess. We talked about this in round 1.
Yep.
If it gets negated at the beginning, you can always link it away and bring it back to get that second effect to get your Snake Eye engine back online.
Now, does Tyler have anything in the graveyard that he wants to push to the back? That's the other question. I don't think he went to the IP Mask Arena just yet.
No, he has SP Little Knight, which isn't too bad to bring up with Snake Eye Slanebird's Dragon.
Yeah, one fun fact about Flamber's Dragon, you can also summon your opponent's monster that's in the spell and trap zone onto your side.
It's pretty
so
cool.
So if you push it over, you can also take it as well. Now, he is going to go from the Promethean Princess, linking down into the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. This is also a wonderful play. There's many different ways you can go up the ladder, you can go down the ladder. You just need to know what you're doing.
Definitely. And those two monsters coming back. The Sunlight Wolf's going to be able to add back a monster. He's going to go for Flamebird's Dragon, probably. Since he already has a Kieran in hand, it's kind of dangerous, but if you're able to destroy the Flamebridge in your hand to summon Kieran, then you get to summon 2 more level 1s. Really good if you have something like IP Masquerade that you want to get a lot of materials for to make a giant Appaloosa during your opponent's turn. But at the same time, if you do that, the bigger your Appaloosa is, the more dangerous Triple Tactics Talent become.
I mean, you can shut down your entire hand because your opponent just got your Appaloosa.
Give me that. Now,
there's a lot of different ways that this can play out. We can go into like we're going to Link Karibo, a fire, and a dark. Heat Soul. It is Heat Soul. Heat Soul is going to provide you with an additional card. I think we're probably likely going to end on Amblo as well along the way. That's my guess. That's my guess.
Or you could leave the Kieran on the field and just go into like IP, have IP Heat Soul gets the 2 draws. Then you can destroy the Kieran with this Kieran, get the Kieran pop immediately. There's just so many different ways you can go about it. You have to find the one that you find the most effective. But he's going to pay 1,000 life points here with Heat Soul to draw another card. And with so many of those non-engine cards, those defensive cards that you can use from your hand, Heat Soul is really, really impactful this format. And then when you get into games 2 and 3, you're just digging for cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Yes. But that's how the opening play can differ from game to game. It's just there's no generic opening that you can always do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, he has to reposition the graveyard back to the top.
Yeah, that's kind of, if you play like just without a mat all the time, sometimes you can get a little mismatch, but definitely want to have him set up the right way, especially when the zones are outlined so clearly on our remote dual game mat.
Oh, so many options here. He's not fire locked. He's got 4 monsters. Taking 2 monsters, link 3.
He's leaving. I mean, he's definitely going to link this Kieran off, so it is going to be the Amblo as you described. So now he's maybe you still can have that extra draw from Heat Soul on the opponent's turn. The Amblo can bring that Heat Soul back onto the field.
Just Kieran it off. And now we also have the IP. Now this is very interesting. Now you have both the IP and the Heat Soul option.
And with that Flamebird in hand, we talked about it just a second ago, you can destroy the Flamebird in hand to summon the Kieran. Then you start worrying about having not enough monster zones to summon all these fire monsters during your opponent's turn.
There's just too many monsters. I can't summon them all.
Bad problem. A good problem to have.
Exactly. Now, one dangerous thing about activating so many effects is that in a skilled matchup like this between 2 really skilled players, if you accidentally overuse one of your effects, it will come back and bite you.
Oh, yeah, definitely could. Even though you have a decent setup, the setup you're looking for turn 1, you definitely want to keep in mind, like all those board breaking cards like Triple Tactics Thrust, Talents, Change of Heart, Snatch Shield can be impactful. But let's see, is it going to be... So this is great. So I like playing this in Fire King Snake Eye as well, because it is so good going first or second. So now if any point does Tyler special summon a monster to the field, or normal summon somehow during his opponent's turn, he can special summon one of those monsters from his spell and trap card zone to the field.
This also sets it up like the previous round that we saw. Cam managed to put the Flamberge Dragon in the back, and the Nibiru being summoned. Because your opponent summoned a monster, that Flamberge gets pushed back to the front.
So good. So yeah, he's going to put the Oak in the back row. So now the Oak can be useful if he sends it to the graveyard later on. He can summon it back with Flamberge Dragon, use the effect to get another fire monster onto the field, and then we're going to see a normal summon of Snake Eye Ash. Let's see if this prompts a response here from Tyler.
This is quite an interesting point. I wonder how this is going to play out. See, like, if you don't read your opponent's cards, like, oh, it's just a field spell. Like, oh, the other players don't play it. I guess doesn't matter. But it will matter. You have to read your opponent's cards. Especially at a tournament level like this, I think every card has been pushed to the maximum efficiency. so that nothing's wasted. If you miss something, it's going to cost you.
And definitely want to make sure you cover all your bases. So Snake Eye Ash is going to add Snake Eye's Poplar. Poplar is going to be summoned to add a Snake Eye Spell Trap. Another cool thing, if you use the Divine Temple and you open up with Diabell Star plus Poplar, you can use Poplar to get the field spell while the Diabell Star can get the original Sinful Spoils. But you can't go the other way around because
That's right.
Which only sets Sinful Spoils while Snake Eye Poplar can add any Snake Eye Spell or Trap. All right, now we are considering. Looks like Tyler has nothing on resolution of adding the original Sinful Spoils from the deck to the hand.
Special summon out Snake Eye Birch.
Yeah, Birch is a cool one. It has that same Snake Eye effect, but you can do it on your opponent's turn by sending 2 cards, especially on a Snake Eye monster from your deck. But other effect, reason why it's so powerful, if you control a fire monster, you can just special summon it from your hand.
Who doesn't love a free fire monster?
Yeah, in this climate, I love it.
They're all just combusting out of nowhere.
Oh man, Birch, Poplar, what are they? Trees or something?
Yeah, they're all named after trees. They are named after the ash tree.
Yep, there you go.
I think this weekend we're gonna be saying ash is going to negate the ash.
Yeah, Matt, I have to say Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring.
Yeah.
Got to separate the difference between the 2 ash cards. But now we're going to see a link with Birch to summon Linkuriboh instead of the Poplar. Kind of interesting. He does have the Oak in the Spell and Trap card zone to send, so he doesn't need to put that Poplar in the Spell and Trap card zone quite yet.
But this is holding back, just saving, just in case maybe there is an Nibiru. If you chain your cards right, after like the 5th summon, you go IP Chain Link, IP Chain Link 1. You find your way in. Is there a way to actually get the Nibiru onto the field and dodge the tributing?
I don't know. Not really. I don't think so.
You go chain link. Yeah, I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, they'll still. The Nibiru will just wipe it all out. But now that the princess is on the field with the IP, this is something. I mean, we know he has the Kieran in hand to get the princess off the field, but you got to be careful because once this happens, you're only able to summon fire monsters.
That I don't know if there's any effective fire monster when it comes to disrupting your
Nightmare
opponent.
Phoenix.
Nightmare Phoenix. You can destroy Spell and Trap, but you're definitely not going into the Appaloosa. There is no SP, although the SP is already in the graveyard.
And we're going to see Amblewell trigger here. We're going to see if Paulo changed the Divine Temple. Well, actually, that would be the other way around, but it looks like Paulo didn't use his Divine Temple.
So here we are going to get the monster we saw earlier. This is going to be the Decode Talker Heat Soul, because that's one of the valid monsters you can summon back. And that's going to provide Tyler with an additional draw.
Yep, and that Amblewell also represents a point of disruption in the graveyard. If a Link 3 or lower monster is destroyed while it's in the graveyard, he can banish it and destroy a card on the field. But the Divine Temple is going to summon out that Snake Eye Oak. And now so this is why he used the Birch first, because he knew that the Princess could come out, and he knew he needed the level 1 in his graveyard to summon back. The Poplar he could have put in the Spell and Trap card zone. Heads up play from Paulo, and it really shows you the minute details that matter the most when you're playing these kind of decks.
These micro interactions will amount to a lot. Get all your resources back as much as you can. Now, with all the cards out right now, Promethean Princess out, we have a little bit of a fire lock here, so Nibiru's not going to be an issue until that card kind of gets off of the field.
Yeah, and so he still has Garunix access, right, in his graveyard. Paulo's monsters, Snake Eye monsters, are also all a little bit bigger. Thanks to that field spell, they all gain 1,100 attack. So they go from
1,100.
1,100.
Okay.
They go from tiny little monsters to formidable, normal, regular-sized monsters.
Oh, boy. Okay, we're going to see the effect of Kieran come down. I think it is targeting the Promethean Princess. That is a Link 3, so that's probably going to lead to another card triggering, like the Amblo Whale.
Yeah, he can destroy 2 cards. So, the Amblo Whale can happen. The Garunix can destroy Kieran, so he can destroy another card. So that's 2 destructions. And he can summon back Arvata if he has it to have a monster negate as well afterwards.
So I'm pretty sure we're trying to aim to destroy as much as we can when it comes to stuff that can bring Flamberge out. So
he's going after Oak and Ash, probably?
Yeah, probably those 2. Otherwise, that's going to be a lot of problems. And probably maybe even set up an additional negate if it's possible.
Garunix effect.
Garunix effect. Get destroy card in the deck, a fire monster from the deck. Likely a Kieran to bring back Arvata, unless Arvata's not in the graveyard. It's a Kieran. There is an Arvada in the graveyard. Most of these players will be setting up Arvada into the graveyard as soon as possible because the negation is just so crucial. Because if you can get it out with Kieran, you get the destruction and you get the follow-up negation on top, and that's what you need. You need cards to handle two things because every single card on the field more or less does two things. So if your plays don't do two things, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, I love that Arvada having a time to shine finally because it wasn't out with that first wave of Fire King. It's a card they got way later on. I think like Code of the Duelist or something.
Yep, much later.
And it didn't really have enough cards to bring it to the forefront. But now with a whole structure deck behind it and structure deck Fire Kings, it is having its time to shine. I always liked Fire Kings, and then when I saw Arvada, I was like, maybe there's a chance. Took 7 more years, but here we are. So it does look like he is going after the Oak with that first destruction effect. Now he looks like he's considering using IP here to go maybe into SP Little Knight.
SP would hurt. SP would hurt. But, here's the thing about SP. Even if you do banish one of those Snake Eye monsters, just remember the Snake Eye can summon it back from the banish or from the graveyard. So it's like you're not really hitting everything. It seems like the deck just has, a finger in every pool.
Has great applications in Infernoids, actually, because you can use Decatron, send Decatron, banish the Decatron to summon another Infernoid, and then you can summon back that Decatron, use its effect again because it's not once per turn, and then you can link it away for Promethean Princess and use its effect again when you bring it back as well.
Link Karibo has been activated, and that puts the Poplar into the back.
It can't go there. That Link Karibo should go somewhere else, I think. Oh, it was in the graveyard?
It was in the graveyard. It was from the graveyard.
Oh, he summoned it turn 1 earlier.
Yeah,
That's right.
Summoned it earlier. Like you mentioned in the previous games, Link Karibo will help you basically dodge different effects and just establish itself in the chain link and removing the monster off the field.
Indeed, it does. Now Tyler sitting on Arvada and IP. I imagine you have to IP here and go after that Snake Eye Ash.
SP's really, especially SP.
It has a back end effect as well.
Yeah, you get to do double removal in this case, and I think that is another very pivotal point. Everything needs to do 2 things when all of your opponent's cards do 2 to 3 things. I think this is why this deck is just so strong.
It is. It's incredible. The layers, but it's able to also play through. Oh, okay. Never mind.
I love this. Now we're just going to use your opponent's monster as a link material with the under goddess of the closed world.
Yeah, and its other effect is really strong too.
Graveyard summon gets shut down and also negates the entire field. It basically acts as 3 effects here. 1, to eat up one of your opponent's monsters. 2, negate the field. 3, the graveyard also gets 1 negate now.
I think I might have to find my Underworld Goddess and throw it into my extra deck. It seems pretty strong here. And also, like, this deck kind of struggles with those. Everyone says, towers type monsters, the monsters that are unaffected by other cards. Because you have to, you can't destroy by card effects, you can't banish it. This is the way you can remove an opponent's monster off the field just by linking it away.
It's also quite neat that Underworld Goddess, you have to target it in order to affect it. Luckily, in this deck, you do have a lot of stuff that target, but in case it does not target, of course, there's always going to be the Kieran to assist with that.
Indeed. So how will Paulo... Okay, there's still some defensive options in Tyler's hand. That's the toughest part, is when you're going second and your opponent has the full board, and then they have more options on top of that. You see the original Sinful Spells. Tyler shows he has the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Paulo's out of our UDS winners that have participated in this tournament. Ooh, and I do see a cross-out designator, I think, in Paulo's hand, so it looks like you called it a little bit.
It's a really safe card to open, and it's one of those cards that forces things into a simplified games. At least when you shut it down for this turn, it's not like Call by the Grave where you shut it down for 2 turns and you can't use it yourself. You definitely can keep using it during your opponent's turn. So.
Yeah, and the best part in this format is even if you draw it in your opening hand, your opponent doesn't have anything for you to cross out on your own turn, you can set it, and it actually is a pretty solid set as a defensive card as well. If you can just hit something like Snake Eye Ash, Bonfire, Wanted, there's a lot of different options you can hit to cut your opponent off as well.
I love hitting Snake Eye Ash in a mirror match because it turns the effect off, and when it comes back from the graveyard, it's also still turned off.
Definitely, and now we see the Bonfire coming down for Paulo to add Snake Eye Ash. Snake Eye Ash is going to add a level 1 fire, and it's probably going to be Snake Eye's Poplar, but you never know. I know a lot of people play 2 and maybe sometimes side the second one out, but no, it is going to be Snake Eye's Poplar.
Too good, too good. It is the gift that keeps on giving, pays for its own cost, brings the bill in, and pays for itself.
Indeed, it does. And let's see what he decides that. He does have options, and he's going to choose the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, which is a really cool one. This may mean he has Diabell Star in his hand, because you definitely want to have access to the original Sinful Spoils in your combo as well.
We're going to put another copy of Snake Eye Ash into the back.
Maybe this is indicating he has Snake Eye Oak in his hand.
And he's going to use the effect of Snake Eye Ash, and it's going to summon from the deck a Snake Eye monster.
Yep, gonna get Snake Eyes, Flamebirds, Dragon. Now for the rest of the turn, if that leaves the field, he'll be able to special summon 2 level 1 Pyros, so now he has a little bit of Nibiru protection.
And we're going to be linking that off. Poplar is going to activate within the next chain. If we are going into a monster, that is going to be the IP Masquerena.
All right, so it looks like he's going to go from the more traditional line where you go IP Masquerena. This is susceptible to Nibiru sometimes, but this is kind of cool that since he uses the Poplar to put the Ash in the Snake Eye Ash in particular, not Ash Blossom and Joyous Ring in the spell and trap card zone, he's going to be able to still special summon that back up with the Divine Temple, and he still has to be able to use with the original Sinful Spoils if he so has it. But he's going to link away the Poplar for Link Kribo, so that's 2 Cyburst monsters. So it looks like he might be looking at Heat Soul, but nope, he's just going to go into Princess. And the Princess can bring back the Flamebirds. The Flamebirds can put the IP Masquerade into the spell and trap card zone. And then he can link away the Snake Eye Ash and the Promethean Princess into There She Blows and blow well.
Okay, we've got the Flamberge Dragon summoned onto the field through the Promethean Princess. We're likely going to see the IP Masquerade pushed to the spell and trap zone. What a wonderful effect.
It's cool. It's a fun interaction.
You know, with the Snake Eye Ash also in the bag, because sometimes you can just summon that as well in case you do lose your copy of IP Masquerena, and then you're going to be able to get additional follow-up, add more cards. Yeah. Like, just because you're not able to put an IP Masquerade doesn't mean that there's nothing you can put in the bag.
Definitely. Now this is going to be where... Oh, no, he's going to link down. Okay, he's going to go into Sunlight Wolf. This means he probably has Birch in his hand?
Okay. We're going to...
Oh, it's the Diabell. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, there it is.
We called that earlier because he didn't go for the original Sinful Spoils. So now he's going to be able to send that Snake Eye Ash to get to another monster. Now he could choose to send the field spell here if he wants to have another monster on the field. And then maybe he has something like an Appaloosa line as well. But he can also still go into Heat Soul. The Link Kuriboh can come back, and then the Sunlight Wolf is a Cyberse monster. I like making Heat Soul every turn. I mean, I don't know about you, Yu-Gi-Oh, drawing cards.
I love drawing cards. Heart of the cards, just if you have 5 cards, the heart of the cards could just be, a nice drawing logbird to shut your opponent out.
And the more cards you draw, the more heart you have, right?
Yeah. So I've got 6 hearts.
I really believe in the heart of the cards. I'm going to keep on drawing until I win. the classic Yu-Gi-Oh way. So he's going to use the original Sinful Spells to summon the Oak from the deck. The Sunlight Wolf is going to chain to it to add back a fire monster from the graveyard. And then it looks like he's going to chain Link Kuriboh to take the Oak into the graveyard. The Oak's going to bring back the Ash. The Sunlight Wolf's going to add back the Oak. I was like, why did he chain the Link Kuriboh there? It's because he wanted to add back the Oak.
Oak is a fantastic follow. It could just lead to the whole board just completely being rebuilt. It's kind of interesting how Tyler has not played a single card here. Is he going for the board-breaking strategy instead?
Sometimes you just don't draw those defensive options. Sometimes
but here it is. Nibiru.
And the Flamebridge effect's already been used.
That's right. That's very, very crucial. And Cross-Out Designator.
Nice. He's going to call Nibiru the Primal Being, banish it from the deck. You called it. That could be the one card you side in going first.
I'm psychic on these things,
you know? I'm sitting next to Esperoba.
Let's see what the Cosmos is telling me next.
Tom Box flew his family in to watch them with binoculars to see the hands. They're feeding him the information to cast, actually, now.
But that is a huge point that shut down Tyler's ability to interact at that point. And the end board here is here to stay.
Indeed. And now we do see that Heat Soul come down as we knew it was. So he's going to cut before he draws a fresh card.
This is huge. Knowing that your opponent has a Nibiru in hand, you know that you're only dealing now 4 cards in hand. So if you can do card-for-card trade against your opponent, especially when you're fully established, that's where it's very, very crucial.
Indeed.
Oh, no!
It feels bad when you get cross-out and taxes. That's the 1-2 punch.
Double Nibiru! Oh, no!
Oh, his hand is horrible.
That's hideous.
If I had a hand like this, I'd be like, sure, I don't care what you pick. Are you going to leave me with a pair of Nibirus and a pair of Talons? Oh, devastating here from Tyler.
The Cosmic Cyclone is probably not going to be very effective here, but we're going to get rid of it because I'm pretty sure that Tyler wants to get rid of the IP Masquerena because that's actual disruption.
You know, if I'm Tyler and I'm looking at this hand, I would still be so thankful that I drew this hand going second instead of first because, I mean, you're kind of slighted to lose games going second. I mean, you still can win them. There's plenty of ways to win, but it's definitely in the favor of who goes first. But if you were to draw a hand like this going first and just have to pass with no play...
that's even worse.
Yeah, it's even worse.
That's even worse.
So at least now he has the hope of a top deck, but he's going to need a lot.
Appaloosa coming down. Now there's triple tag. There's
a
triple
couple
tag.
of them.
but that just means that Paulo has to be very careful of when he chooses to use the monster effect during the next turn. That negate of Appaloosa could end up backfiring.
Yeah.
But knowing that Tyler does not have a summonable monster, that is crucial. And also, there's no Fire King Island to destroy. Okay.
I mean, Tyler not happy about the card he drew. I don't think there's anything you could draw to really get back in this one. I mean, at least something to prompt the Flamebird into the IP or the Appaloosa. But if Paul has something as simple as an infinite permanent set, this game is locked up. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's assuming
There's too
Tyler
much
drew
reveal.
Snake Eye Ash.
Like the classic crossout designated triple tactics talent, that is a branded Chimera classic, where you simplify
I think
the
it might be
entire
your
game.
classic.
That's my classic, and you simplify the games to the point that, yeah, you know what, I have 3 cards, he has 3 cards, I can answer everything.
Sets 3 cards face down. We know one of them is potentially 2 triple tactics talents, so one could be a new one. So you set like this, you set 2 on one side, 1 on the other. I think the one next to the deck, for sure, triple tactics talent, and you kind of hide the other one between the other 2.
Or maybe that's the mind game. Maybe they just put the one with the, you just put the one that's actually different onto one next to the deck, and like you hope that your opponent overreads the situation.
Always got to be 2 steps ahead. All right, but see, Tyler's showing you got to play with what you got. Sometimes you got to do it the best with what you have. Definitely not an ideal hand, but Paulo. You know, Paulo's a technical player. I would say he's one of the best technical players out there. Watching him play with Sky Striker back in the day was amazing. He would end his board 5, 6 cards in hand, 5 spell and trap cards, and he's very technical here as well.
IP Masquerade has been pushed onto the field. We
During
are not
end phase, probably.
during end phase, so that Paulo just drew a card to hand. I mean, he could have used the IP Masquerade to clear off one of the back, but maybe it would have just been a little too much, maybe play into certain things. Because IP Masquerade, of course, you would enable the triple tack and maybe allow the Tyler to draw additional cards, maybe dig the out.
That would not be good, but here is that Snake Eye Oak that Paulo added back to his hand off the Sunlight Wolf last turn. That's going to summon, I believe, Snake Eye Ash, yep.
And Ash is going to add another card, and that is going to be the Poplar to get another card, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, he has enough damage.
Thought about it.
I'm surprised Tyler hasn't conceded out. You can see, I just saw his head like scan from left to right. I know that scan. That is I'm adding up how much damage you have on board right now. Scan.
That gesture. Oh, that's the read. I see.
You see, because he's leaning forward. The only reason you'd be leaning forward like that is because you're really looking at your opponent's side of the field. He's trying to see all those stat numbers. He's like, all right, that's 800 plus 1100,
Yeah.
so that's 19.
But did you calculate the field spell on
Exactly.
top?
You got to make sure. You got a bonus 2200 there for the 2 small snake eyes.
That's a lot of damage. If you reach 8,000, it could just be completely over at this point. Now, when you do that calculation, you're just debating whether or not you should just pick up your cards and maybe go into the next game. Save a little bit of time because these games do have a lot of intricate interactions. So it could burn a lot of the clock just thinking about which line you want to go and which line your opponent would go into.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
We're already
so-
at 14 and a half minutes. But, yeah,
Ah,
okay,
that's
there
it.
you go.
There's the damage. Oh, the
So
number clicked.
I think he did that out of anti-spell fragrance. Not as good against pure Snake Eye. While they do have a lot of spells, just Snake Eye Ash can out anti-spell fragrance, but usually you have something to protect it from something like SP Little Knight as well.
We're going to see how this kicks off. We're starting with Bonfire. As I mentioned in the first round, this is a big tell because this is especially susceptible to Droll and Longbird. But are people like going ahead of the games like, oh, Droll and Longbird's not that great? And so I chose
Been a
not
lot
to
of talk
play
of
it.
that.
This is a really interesting format where you can debate on so many cards.
Yep, but he does add Snake Eye Ash, not burning algae just to keep the joke going.
1,000 life
Where's
points.
Nurse Reficule?
So Snake Eye Ash has been summoned onto the field, and that's going to add into the hand Snake Eyes Poplar. Did you know that Snake Eyes
I
Poplar?
know. Yeah, Snake Eyes Poplar, Snake Eyes Flamebird Dragon, the rest are Snake Eye.
Yeah.
So it's multiple Snake Eye monsters. It's never Snake Eyes monsters.
Yes. Careful with what you write on the deck
Yeah, it
list
makes me
here.
wonder, is there a connection? Is Poplar like a baby Flamebird's dragon?
Oh, maybe.
They're the only Snake Eyes monsters.
We'll
but
know when this thing gets a lot larger.
there is a reason why Diabell Star wants that Snake Eyes Poplar, and now Ash is going to be used here to send both. Does Paulo have an Ash Blossom? Enjoy Spring to snap Snake Eye Ash effect to summon out Flamebird's dragon.
No, we're going into the deck, and we're going to be summoning out
Oak.
Oak.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very interesting line.
This means the last time I saw someone do this against me, they had Ponix in their hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that end up?
Well, I Nibiru'd right here because I didn't want him to use Oak to go into Flameburge, and then he summoned Ponix and still made his entire board.
Yo, okay.
But I'm just saying, like, for some reason, this kind of is a key indicator that he might have drawn into the Ponix, so now he can use the Oak. Gets the Oak into rotation to summon back with Flameburge. So, he probably has original Sinful Spoils. So here, use Flameburge to put a monster in the spell and trap card zone, so you can use original Sinful Spoils on that card.
I think Tyler wants to enable his Fire King line, but now we're going to link summon into Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. Ghost Rare copy.
It's beautiful. That's out of Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. It also contains Raging Phoenix, but Bell on Flameburge Dragon. That's the best card to Ghost Bell.
That is a very, very big impact. How are we going to follow up here?
I mean, I assume he has Sinful Spoils or Punish. I mean, we know he has.
Or he already has the
yeah.
Fire King cards. One or the other, but we do have the OG, the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. That's going to probably allow the summon of a monster into the Salamangreat Arrow. But what would you even add back? I guess you could add back the Oak into hand to allow the follow-up similar to how Paulo played it out. But we're going to get the
Ponix.
Okay,
well, it's interesting that he went for the Oak. Yeah, this is...
Oh, Oak is interesting, but if you have Oak in the graveyard, when you do, get the Flameburge back onto the field, and you somehow put it back off the field, now you can summon an Oak and an Ash, and then you get a Poplar, and you just get everything back onto the field. You get one additional monster.
Indeed. Yeah, alternatively, if you play the Snake Eyes or Snake Eye Field spell, yeah, this is you do a completely different play in this scenario. This is that play where I'm talking about where you can do Celine and stuff, if he has Diabellstar as well to go into it. But yeah, having the Oak in rotation is always advantageous. But the Ponix is going to grab Fire King Island. Maybe he has Sanctuary already in the hand. I mean, assuming the way he did this play, he for sure had some sort of access to the Fire King engine on top of everything else.
Yeah.
But there's so many different routes to get to the same kind of end board, and Tyler's showing that off right here, right now.
No, I love the side deck of these players. They're so different.
They are.
The tackling of how people want a side deck is like... It's like you look at the main deck, it all looks kind of the same, and then we look at the side deck, it's like, oh, this is a completely different play style.
Definitely is. Yeah, but this play definitely feels like it plays a little bit harder into Nibiru than some other options that Tyler has access to.
Yeah,
but the Ghost Bell probably caught him off guard a little bit.
Okay, Island is good.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Okay.
He's deciding, destroys a card from the hand.
Destroying the Flameburge Dragon.
That he just added back?
Yeah, I believe it can't be used at this point.
Yeah, it definitely can't be used.
Garunix effect, we're going to destroy another card.
Yeah, alternatively, he could have destroyed the Ponix, got the Garunix, some of the Garunix, used Arvata to bring back the Ponix, and then link and then link away the Ponix for the Link Karibo. I guess this way he gets a different monster, an additional monster on the field.
Arvata destroyed. Arvata effect activated, summoning a legendary Ponix onto the field. That effect is negated, of course, but it's going to also be destroyed during the end phase. I don't think that particular part matters too much unless you want to add the card back into your hand.
It's actually pretty useful if you summon back Kieran with Arvata. You get during the end phase, the Kieran gets destroyed. You get to summon back a different monster. You get to summon back Arvata and destroy a card. That kind of comes up sometimes. More so it came up before Phantom Nightmare was released.
And we have the Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, Link summoned onto the field, and that's going to bring back the Arvata. Arvata now has been summoned onto the field.
Unfortunate, Paulo didn't have Nibiru. It would have been huge here.
Paulo's got to think deep. There's a lot of lines to actually break through. So many lines of defense, so many lines of disruption, and when we finish this field.
Now he's going to link away the Grunix. You always want to make sure you link away the Grunix. You'd much rather have it in the graveyard than on the field during the opponent's turn.
Does it do anything on the field? Not really.
It's big.
It's big. It's there to stare you down.
Just like the original Grunix, definitely better off being in the graveyard. This one doesn't have to be destroyed. It waits to see what other monsters destroyed, then it comes out to help.
He's waiting for the explosion to happen to just come out of nowhere.
Indeed he does. So, not a bad start. So yeah, since he summoned it off Arvata, he's going to be able to return the Ponix to the hand.
It does get destroyed. We do have Garunix in the graveyard. We have the Promethean Princess also in the graveyard.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get to this end board. Tyler, I think, chose kind of a route that ran as fast as he possibly could into Nibiru, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
The Rock couldn't keep up.
The rock wasn't there, so he still has an established board here as well.
So much in the graveyard.
3.
Well, how this is gonna play out here.
Draw phase.
Fire King Island, a bit difficult. Draw phase, we are going to see Wanted.
Yep, draw and lockbird can only be used in every phase but the draw phase. So sometimes, usually if your first action is going to be summon Diabell Star, you can
Ghost
Wanted it.
Bell. Remember, Wanted can add back from the graveyard, and therefore the Ghost Bell is allowed to negate it here.
Definitely Wanted and Flamebird's Dragon. Big reason why Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion has been rising in popularity
Yeah,
recently.
standby.
Now, note
And
that.
Promethean Princess, too.
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Yes.
Go back to my hand. 'cause
Oh,
it was
it was
destroyed.
destroyed by
Yep,
Stand by.
mandatory.
Yeah, you
Or
have
it
to
is,
get it
right?
back.
Yeah.
You have to get it back.
in the end phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Cool. So I
Well,
got that
just
back.
managing your resources there.
Free hand. No. Okay.
Do you need everything? Now, the one thing about Paul is Paul only played one disruption so far, so he has a handful of cards to play.
Definitely does.
But is this enough? There's the Snake Eye Fields, the Divine
Step
Temple of the
one.
Snake Eye.
I'm telling you, Fire King players out there, try it out. Try this card out in your deck. I promise you, it is good. Like, if you just open this and Snake Eye Oak, those two cards together, you pretty much get full combo. If there is a
And
way
you
to
can play
do
through
it,
stuff too.
yes, it's
Yeah.
actually really cool.
And we're gonna put the Oak in the back.
There we go. All right, sounds like time is called for our other players. The feature match started a little later, so these players still have some more time in this game.
This is a tight situation. Very, very tight situation here. We have one of the best things about the Arvada negate is that this does not destroy the card. I think that's very crucial. You don't set off, a chain explosion of cards.
Usually a bad thing, but it's sometimes a good thing when you're worried about having like all these other card effects activate.
Poplar has been summoned and sent to the graveyard.
No
as no effect
Means
apparently.
he probably has original in the hand already.
Oh, that's unfortunate. You're not getting maximum resources, not seeing additional cards. Poplar, activate targeting Poplar, putting Poplar into the spawn trap zone.
Yeah, because he definitely would want original here with the Wanted in the graveyard, so he has it as well. So he's going to use it here on the Poplar.
No
Does
Ash.
Tyler have anything? Doesn't look like it. Another thing I like to do, so if you use Nibiru, you lose all your fire monsters, so you won't be able to use Promethean Princess afterwards. But if you can get Snake Eyes Flamebirds on your field, and you use your Nibiru on your own Flamebirds Dragon, you clear out their board, and you get your fire monsters back, but you still have that Promethean Princess follow-up as well.
That's
We're not
right.
going to see that here, but it's something to consider if you're at home wondering how you... Some different options you can have with the deck.
Oh, Bonfire activating later now.
He drew, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 power spells? Not too, I wouldn't call the field spell a power spell. It's definitely something you want to add from your deck to your hand instead of draw, but Bonfire is going to add a Pyro. He's already summoned Poplar from the hand, I believe, right? So,
Fact.
oh no,
No,
he
it
hasn't.
has not.
Okay.
No, I think that was the first summon.
Oh, he normal summoned the Poplar. Okay, but you get to do each effect per turn, so Poplar is going to come down.
Oh boy.
Hollow with...
I mean, this is the timing where I love to play Bonfire. This is like, oh, most of the cards are gone. The things that I would, test out, do a little Ash Blossom test. Oh, that's going through too. So this is gonna go through likely when I add it to my hand.
So Tyler decides to negate the Arvata,
No,
keep him from getting another monster on the field, but doesn't use Amblowell to summon back?
I don't know. Maybe are we still in a different chain? No, he does not summon it back.
This is the bottom
But Ambeloid without a Link monster will not have any further interaction.
How much time?
So now Want is going to draw a card.
Thank you.
This is difficult. The draw additional card from the Wanted. Deck is just so consistent.
So good.
So good.
You go through so much stuff, and your board ends up with like a couple monsters. But those couple of monsters in that huge graveyard represent so much in terms of interaction.
It's very misleading. It's a very misleading field.
Yeah.
If you can somehow empty the board without destroying a single card, then you'll feel a lot safer. But if it involves the battle phase, if it involves destruction, then
It
you're
involves the
just
graveyard, the hand. We
Yeah.
just sent it, like I remember when like the Dragon List came out. I'm like, okay, the graveyard's in my hand now. This is new. But now we've kind of gone to that next level where the graveyard's your hand. It's the disruption during your opponent's turn, and your hand is also a big interaction during your opponent's turn. So like you never know all the points of just interruptions you can actually have,
And
which is so cool.
And one more thing, your opponent's graveyard is also your hand.
Give me that.
We're sharing a deck.
So it looks like okay. So this is on. Oh no, he's using Hida to summon back Prince. Oh no, the Hida was summoned, and now Tyler's going to use Princess effect in the graveyard, targeting Arvata and Hida. It's going to destroy both, so both effects can activate.
Oh, we are seeing the activation of Arvata. Of course, destruction is going to bring back another monster. Arvada Destruction.
And then it's going to activate Garunix, so
And that's going to activate the effect of the Temple. Temple's going to push the Oak onto the field because the Princess was summoned out. So many triggers, so many lines.
I love Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Garunix and Arvada effects.
Garunix effect. We're going to summon out 2 monsters here and probably see a Kieran destroyed.
You see, Tyler, normally some of your monsters in defense mode, so they can't crash their monsters in and go to the Fire King engine, even though it's a pure Snake Eye. But now with time winding down, you definitely want to summon your weak monsters in defense mode. So
But I wonder, they're running really low on time here. It's very dangerous.
Then you change.
Now he still has Garunix effect and Oak effect.
Everyone's just activating effects. What would Oak bring back?
Can you burn?
No, it's time in the round. They're both 1-1. This could be a draw, I think, because he doesn't do any damage in this phase, all right?
It could be dangerous. You could see some surprises.
I hope not.
Nope.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to be the one surprised.
Oh, I thought
Maybe
it
one of
did.
our
I
judges
thought
has
there
a
was something
tattoo of a
from
monster on his leg. That might be a surprise.
Okay.
You legally could summon
Oh no.
the Runix from the Avada and then the Onyx.
However,
Yeah.
this
so
is.
it would just be the.
But
But this would be.
I guess they're trying to resolve what's happening on
Arvada
the
isn't
summon there.
against the fix.
yeah.
So this wouldn't get destroyed, and it would stay like this.
Okay. Do we get an extension?
You're just playing to the end of the phase.
Sorry.
I think there may be a judge
we're kinda
intervention at the
listening in
moment.
here.
Yeah, we're just listening in.
If there's anything I can do. Unfortunately, I have one more bayonet. Yeah. I can burn. We're equal. Let me double check. So just be safe.
Oh, he's checking his extra deck to see if he has an option to deal some effect damage.
That's unfortunate.
Oh,
Yeah.
but Tyler also has a
I-
Nibiru in hand.
I knew it this whole time that he had Nibiru. I didn't want to like spoil it because I wanted to see something make an impact. I wanted like Paulo to get to that point where he was about to do some damage, then be like, "No, see, I got the Nibiru." But yeah,
It's
with
a
both
draw.
players winning one game apiece, it's going to be a draw. They're going to be moving on with a 2